All right, up to 2. That's 3. It's not good enough. That's for sure. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for taking the time to watch Hello Good Game. We are playing Historic Elves today in Magic the Gathering Arena. This deck is so much fun. I've been loving Historic. Yesterday we played Historic Goblins, wrecked ranked with it. Today is Historic Elves, so let's see how it can perform. And you guys are in for a treat. We actually played Historic Goblins with the Historic Elves, so you're in for some really high-paced competitive matches of Magic. As always, we're looking at the deck list in its entirety, breaking down each individual card, what do they all do, and then we'll talk about the deck's strategies and synergies. How do all of these individual cards come together to form a coherent archetype? Then we'll be watching some gameplay footage that I recorded, where we'll break down any playlines or interactions between this deck and the other decks within the metagame. Finally, we have our closing thoughts where we talk about any potential changes that we'd like to see in the deck, alternative upgrade guides if you don't quite have the rares or mythics for it. So stay tuned, don't forget to watch to the end, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you're notified of all of our future uploads. Getting right into it, Historic Elves has 4 copies of Allosaurus Shepherd. Now this is a 1/1 mythic card, I'll have you note. So this, you know it's powerful just from that. It cannot be countered. Absolutely amazing. Green spells you control cannot be countered. What? No wonder it's mythic, right? And then we can also pay 6 until end of turn. Each elf creature you control has base power and toughness of 5/5 and becomes a dinosaur in addition to its other types. So this card has a lot of value. It does a lot of different things. So it's good early game, it's good late game, and it's definitely good within this deck. Llanowar Elves, we all know this card. It's a 1/1. We can tap it to add 1 green mana source. Just classic ramp for 1. Primal Might, sorcery. This costs 1 green to fight, and we can use additional mana with X to give our creatures +X/+X. So target creature you control fights a target creature you don't control, and it gets +X/+X while it does so. So you can make your creature survive, get the kill, and then attack in, which is pretty cool. Dwynen's Elite. This is a 2/2 elf warrior. When it enters the battlefield, if you control another elf, you get to create an additional 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. So that's a 2-for-1, which is nice. Elvish Visionary. It's a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, draw a card. So at the very least, it replaces itself or attempts to. 2 copies of Scavenging Ooze. It's not an elf, but this card's so good. It's a 2/2. We can pay 1 at instant speed anytime. Exile target card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, put a +1/+1 counter on Scavenging Ooze, and you gain 1 life. So this is really good for dealing with things like Uro. Elvish Clancaller. A 1/1. Other elves you control get +1/+1. We can pay 6, much like the Allosaur. Search your library for a card named Elvish Clancaller, put it into the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So late game, if you have a ton of mana, this is a great way just to buff your field up. On to our 3-drops. 2 copies of the Imperious Perfect. This is a 2/2 Lord. Other elf creatures you control get +1/+1. We can pay 1 and tap it to create an additional 1/1 green elf warrior creature token. 4 copies of Elvish Archdruid for 3. This is a 2/2. Other elf creatures you control get +1/+1. So we see a lot of Anthem effects within the deck. And then we can tap it to add 1 green mana source for each elf we control. So that's a great way to ramp out your mana. 4 copies of Steel Leaf Champion. Now we get a lot of comments, but wow, elves are so weak. Check this guy out. This is a 5/4, and it cannot be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. So basically unblockable early game, which is, he's just an absolute powerhouse, right? So moving on, we also have 2 4-drops within Vivian Arcbow Ranger. This is a legendary planeswalker coming in with 4 loyalty on her. She has a +1, distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among up to 2 target creatures you control. They gain trample until the end of turn, so that's quite nice. -3, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker. -5, you may choose a creature card you own from outside the game, your sideboard, reveal it, and put it into your hand. We also have 2 9-drops, the Great Henge. We will not be casting it for 9 though, because this spell costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. We can tap it as soon as it enters the field. Artifacts do not have summoning sickness. To gain 2 life and add 2 mana. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card, which is really nice. So these spells are accompanied by 2 Castle Garenbrigs. Tap for 5, add 6 green mana to cast creature spells and activate abilities of creatures. 12 Force, 12 Overgrown Tombs, and 4 Overgrown Tombs and 4 Woodland Cemeteries. Now I know what you're saying. Why is there black in the deck? I don't see any black sources. Well, let's bring up the sideboard, boys. we've got a Shaper's Sanctuary. This is a 1-drop enchantment. Whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, you may draw a card. 2 more Scavenging Oozes, we talked about that. 3 Liliana Standard Bearers. Now, this is one of the great incorporations within black for the deck. It's a 3/1 with flash, so very nice. When it enters the battlefield, draw X cards, where X is the number of creatures that died under your control this turn. So this is a really good way to recover from a field wipe, right? 2 copies of Reclamation Sage. This is a 2/1. When it enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. So Wilderness Reclamation, Witch's Oven, things like this. Maelstrom Pulse, destroy target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent. Woo! This is powerful. So we sideboard this basically, and every time we distinguish what deck they are, and then we go for their highest priority card. Ideally non-legendaries, so then they'll have multiple copies. This destroys all tokens because they'll have the same name, right? We also have a Visionary. This is a 5-cost, 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker. +1, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a creature or a land card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. -3, destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. And -8, you get an emblem with creatures you control, get +2/+2, and have vigilance, trample, and indestructible. So that is a pretty nice -8 there for indestructible. We also have a single copy of Craterhoof Behemoth. This is a 5/5 with haste for 8, so this is a late game drop, or using our mana from our Archdruid to get it out there, right? Whenever it enters the battlefield, creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. So this is a great finisher. And then we have an additional Primal Might for a little bit of added removal if you need it. So that's the deck list, that's the sideboard. Let's begin to break down the strategies and synergies that we're going to find within this deck. First thing I want to bring up is all of the anthems. Elvish Clancaller, other elves you control get +1/+1. Elvish Archdruid, other elves you control get +1/+1. Imperious Perfect, other elves you control get +1/+1. So we have 10 anthem creatures right there. Not only are they anthem effects like Glorious Anthem, but they're creatures as well, which come in quite handy within an aggro deck. So there are a lot of anthem effects within the deck. Now this is going to make things like the Dwynen's Elite very powerful, because it makes a 2/2 that gets anthemed up, plus a 1/1 that gets anthemed up, all for 2. So it's a good way to make all of your elves very, very strong. They quickly go from 1/1s into 4/4s and beyond. So the anthem effects are very powerful within the deck. There's a couple more ways to power our elves up. It's by having the Great Henge in play. They're going to enter with an additional +1/+1 counter on them, or Vivian's Arcbow Ranger, where we will put the 2 1/1 counters on either 1 or 2 creatures that we control. If it's 2, they each get 1. But those creatures will not only have those counters, but they gain haste, which is really cool as well. So that is that. Obviously, the best creature to put your trample on is your Steel Leaf Champion, because he's a 5/4. Can't be blocked by little creatures organically, and then the trample will nullify any chump blocker attempts and just go straight in for the henhouse for like excruciating damage. While we're on topic of Steel Leaf Champion, this is a 3-drop which can be pushed out on turn 2 via Llanowar Elves. Now that is a ramp, you guys. That is an aggressive mana curve to have to catch up to and follow, unless you have some form of removal, especially when we start putting trample on it the following turn, right? So Steel Leaf Champion is the nuke of the deck. If you had to put 1 card out as a priority to get the kill, there it is. If not, we're going wide and we're trying to make everybody as powerful as we can. We talked about that with our anthem creatures and so on and so forth. So the Shepherd is really cool because we can make our creatures 5/5 until end of turn. Now the +1/+1s that we put on through the Henge and through the Ranger will go in addition to this. So they'll become 6/6s, 7/7s, and so on, right? Which is quite nice. They are still elves and dinosaurs in addition. So the elf anthems will still trigger on top of these 5/5s. So it's not only the tokens that help, but it's the elf anthems as well, because they're going to be elf dinosaurs, which is really, really cool. As far as draw engine goes, the Great Henge is our go-to. Whenever we play a creature, we draw a card to replenish that creature. We also have Elvish Visionary, which is cool to drop on the Great Henge, because then you're going to get 2 draws and a creature, which is awesome. All for basically free, because it costs 2 mana and the Henge puts out 2 mana as well. So that is a great strategy as well. So we're just flooding the field with elves, trying to get our Steel Leaf Champion out with haste, smashing our opponent. If he has any creatures that we need to remove, well, we've got Primal Might, we have Vivian's minus ability, right? So main board, we're doing that. That's the entire strategy. you should be able to bash pretty hard. Don't forget about Castle Garenbrig. This is a great way to grab an additional land. Tap for 5, gain 6, right? So that's awesome. The Henge and Vivian won't benefit from that, but most of your elves and elves abilities will. That's the main board strategy. You should be pretty good just to aggro your opponent out. Quick reminder, the add mana for each elf you control is good for the Shepherd, right? So it's a bummer because you tap your Archdruid, but nonetheless, if you have enough elves, I'm sure it's worth it to make them all that much stronger, right? And there's a good chance you might not want to attack with your Archdruid because it is one of your lords that makes everyone stronger, but if you have enough elves, you probably will. That's the main board. Let's talk about the sideboard. Shaper's Sanctuary. Hello, John's Sacrifice. Every time a Mayhem Devil targets a creature you control, draw a card. Yup. Really, any removal deck that's looking to touch your elves, Shaper's Sanctuary is perfect. Scavenging Ooze, we already talked about that. It's taking out the cats. It's taking out Woe Strider. It's taking out stuff like that. Lilion Standard Bearer. Recovery from field wipes. Reclamation Sage. Hitting Wilderness Reclamation. And any other artifacts or enchantments that you may need to kill. Maelstrom Pulse is great. I just wish it was instant speed. You can destroy any non-land permanent and any copy of it, so that's absolutely amazing. Vivian Reed, destroying artifacts, enchantments, or creatures, or just helping us pull more elves from the library. The -8 is great, similar to the Crater's Behemoths, where we're making all of our creatures really powerful, giving them trample, and should be able to have lethal that way. And then an additional Primal Might if we need to be removing some of our opponent's baddies. So that's the deck, that's the sideboard. This was the general deck guide and sideboard guide. We're going to get into today's gameplay footage, but I want to remind you that if you found any value so far today, be sure to give me a thumbs up and share this channel out to a friend. It's a great organic way to help me grow. And a huge shout out to everybody who's helping the channel financially. You guys are incredible. I've been producing some very high quality content that'll be coming out next week for you guys, so I know you're going to be really excited as a whole. And I know it's not only me who's incredibly grateful, but the community in general, because without you, I wouldn't be able to make that high quality content, which you're going to see soon. So stay tuned. Make sure to watch to the end of this video so you don't miss out on my thoughts for historic elves. Take care, and thanks again. I like to keep 3 land in hand. That's like really, really good. Great Henge with Steel Leaf Champion. This is one of the greatest elf creatures. So a lot of the times people are like, well, elves are so weak. Have you seen this guy? Woof, right? So Llanowar Elves into a turn 2 Steel Leaf Champion? Probably. What's that make, a turn 3 Henge? Good lord. Just stop it. So we can play our Henge into a Channeler. Oh, immediate exile. That does, you know, we'll insert our foot into our mouth, I guess. Oof. So he's going to be rocking like Field Wipe, Shatter the Sky. Probably don't want to play too deep. At a certain point, I feel like we should just commit to it. And if he has the Shatter, he wins. If not, we win, right? It's going to be like a heads or tails type situation, rather than just like dragging out and trying to already play around it when we don't even know that it's in his hand. Do you guys ever experience that? Isn't that rich? We do get a draw here at least, so, you know, that does help a bit. And we do have all of our Elven Lords here. There's a lot of Anthem effects within the Elf deck here. We'll keep our Caller back just because it's, well, maybe we do just go for it. 2 damage, or play into a second Shatter the Sky. I'll play into a second Shatter the Sky, sure. right? We do lose out on actually only 1 damage there because the Visionary gets buffed up by 1, so I think that's probably worth it. And again, what are the chances of 2 Shattered Skies? Every time he plays one, it significantly goes down that he'll play another. Right, because there are 47 cards in deck, 3 in hand, so even to have a second in hand would be incredibly likely. He's going to minus on his Enchantress Presence, I believe. Double downs on the Tribunal, so that's actually a bad move. He should have spread the threat, unless he really likes his presence that much, because now I can just remove the Tribunal with a Gem Razor, which isn't in the deck, but let's pretend it is, to kill the Tribunal and get both of our cards back, which would be sick. Yeah. Just gain a life, why not? We'll kill Calyx, and we'll take him down to 17.
This is not my destiny.
Starfield Mystic, okay. Another presence, so the first one draws off the, or the second one draws off the first. Or the first one draws off the second, yeah. They'll both draw off this, this Song of Freestyle. Alright, more elves. At least we draw off the Llanowar Elf, right? Which is always good. And into a land's not so good. I truly don't mind trading with him. Right? Not with what the Lord, but with either of these elves. I'll take that trade. Get Starfield Mystic out of here. Yeah, Llanowar Elf, sure. Whatever. As long as there's not too many more enchantments. Oh, Lord. Lordy, lordy. So, this is pretty cool. And now, I've said this before. I'm going to say it again and over and over and over again. This is why I love Historic. The versatility, or not the versatility, the diversity of the matches is so, like, intense that you're not running into the same meta decks over and over and over again. It's really fun.
There is so much existence beyond.
It's like, you walk in blindfolded. It's awesome. Alright, well, we may as well add some mana for no apparent reason. I guess let's add some mana here as well. Grab the life out of that, at least. Okay, so we got 2. How do we tap all of our mana again? Was it Shift Enter? Someone knows. Leave that in the comments below. I do forget it. This guy's probably upset with me for doing it single. He's like, why aren't you doing that? Yeah. Well, no. So he casts us for what? 7? 5, 6, 7. And then let's just bash him. And then we hit for 10, down to 5. Not too shabby, right? That's within striking range. It's gonna be a little bit hard to get there though. Right? He does create the 1/1 here, and then he puts a bunch of tokens on the 1/1. Oh, actually, we just killed the 1/1. What am I thinking? So the tokens fizzle, which is nice. It's always a great way to deal with the Iron gains, which I feel like happens more than not. And now, unless he plays a big creature here, he's not going to get the double draw. But even... he gets the double draw here. Absolutely ridiculous. Come on, kid. Another Iron gains. Okay, so... maybe he'll mill himself? I don't know. This is not looking good. So we talked about the chances of him drawing another Shatter the Sky. Well, actually, maybe not. He's playing these cards. Actually, after this double draw. Oh, wow. What I mean to say is that he probably has another Shatter of the Sky locked and loaded. There's not a lot of creatures in here. We can get 1 Starfield Mystic. We will take the draw off of the Henge, though, at least. And we just need to not ever pull another land again. So let's get rid of this Mystic. Just gaining some life, why not? We ourselves have some elves that we can take care of as well. There's nothing bringing our elves back from the graveyard, so we may as well utilize them in some fashion here. It's not a fast process, I'll give you that. This ooze is much like a snail. Do you think the ooze was modeled off of a snail? And I wish we could select multiple with the ooze, like, you know what I mean? Just do it all at once. Like tap multiple mana and then grab multiple cards. Patch update, please. That's all we got. He's got ECD available to him, so he may as well snag that Calyx, right?
Was I fated to fail?
And just tapped. In all honesty, I could trade with this other Mystic again. I'm game. Probably just chump blocks it, yeah. Bummer. Because when all these Saga enchantments leave the battlefield, that's gonna trigger 1/1 counters on Starfield Mystic. Never mind the Iron games. This guy is an Olympian today, you guys. He's going big. Welcome to the Colosseum. Well, the Colosseum was like Rome. That wasn't ancient Greece. Different times, correct? Kind of close, maybe. Rome must have conquered Greece. Big time, for sure. I feel like the Greeks might have had what were they called back then too? I don't know if they were just called the Greeks. It was like weird discussion for a Magic game, I know, but what else do you do in art? Oh, there's that ECD. So this is gonna hit our ooze, and I wish we paid because now, actually no, we did take the. Never mind. Oh, and he leaves the ooze, takes our draw engine, which is also probably the correct play because he can shatter all the creatures at once. So really making the most out of all of his cards, which is that's a winning strategy. Yeah, this is still a match somehow. Okay. He's gonna Conclave Tribune our ooze. Takes Llanowar Elves? This guy's wiling out on us at this point. Right, to not take our ooze with that? What? Okie dokie. Down to 17 cards is the situation for our friend though here, so let's hang in there. Let's try to go plenty wide, put up some walls, and I guess pull an unlimited amount of land. There's one creature to get here. There he is. And there's another in our own graveyard, so let's take that, why not? Gain a little bit of life, and hopefully he mills himself before he can get the kill. That's going to be our go-to here. Right? What's his win condition? Oh, it went to exile, never mind. Never mind. Yeah, we're definitely going to attack. Right? We're going to get rid of that 0/4 wall. I mean, he's got 3 more Shatter the Skies, so I don't have high hopes for this attacker. But I think our best chance of winning this game... Well, maybe he doesn't want to Shatter because that will keep him from winning, and these token attackers are quite powerful. Interesting. Okay. Let's resolve all. Bad habits die hard. Well, you can compete with our ooze, right? You draw some cards, okay. That's what we want to see. Calyx in the field, and then he just shatters the Hizzle Skyzel. Is there anything we want to take out before he does so? I don't really think so. We draw an Elvish Archdruid, which isn't great. Enchantments equal double draws. Down to 11. He mills cards. Return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield and shuffle your graveyard into your library. Nice. So we need to somehow slay the Mending of Dominaria, or his self-mill is no longer our win condition, and he can just bash us. Hey, didn't we get hit with a Shatter? Why does he have these creatures still? Why did that Shatter not hit him? I mean, you know, I'm adept at not paying attention, and my comprehension is incredibly low, but, shouldn't a Shatter just hit his creatures? I'm incredibly confused. Someone's gonna have to let me know on that. It's a lot easier to replay on your guys' end than mine. Alright, my memory is a little tarnished. Oh, whatever, bro. It's a land, okay? That's what I've been holding in my hand. How can we kill this Mending of Dominaria? Where did they gain Indestructible from? That's why they didn't die. They've got Indestructible. He's got no emblem. Where did the Indestructible come from? I don't know, you guys. I'm gonna try to pay a little bit more attention here in the second game. Where did the Indestructible come from? Okay, put 3+1/+1 counters on creatures you control. Those creatures gain Vigilance and Indestructible end of turn. So it's the song that they gained Indestructible from, and then he shattered with that on top. All right, at least we understand. So we are talking Shatters, which means Liliana Deathbearer is a great replenisher of our hand. What else is happening to us here? Enchantments. We need to destroy enchantments. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Sign me up. Maelstrom Pulse. I can't get a read on. Destroy target non-land permanent and all other permanents with the same name as that permanent. Yes. Can we look at it from down here? Weird that it won't let us zoom in on that. Destroy target non-land permanent and all permanents with the same name as that permanent. That's going to be a huge card in this match. Whenever a creature you control becomes target of a spell or ability opponent controls, no. We did like the Ooze a little bit. Destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. That might be a good thing. Vivian. So we've sideboarded in. Now let's sideboard out. We've seen Shatter the Sky. That was brutal. So, like, let's just get rid of that. Actually, that's maybe good because it's better for our bearer. Well, actually, no, it's not. So it's nice to, like, buff us up, but I think the bearer will be better for when he removes us. So this is really good because it's such a cheap tap to create the token. Whereas this is a little bit different. It's more expensive. Well, no, it's not. It just, the land requirement's different, but we're playing mono green. Black is mixed in here just for the Deathbearer. And our Maelstrom Pulse, which we'll be using. Oh, we missed our time. Luke from Twitch is saying that this deck is trash, which is actually incredibly funny to me. Let me pull something up for you guys here, just to make Luke look like an idiot. There's been a lot of people, you know, saying some really stupid things lately, myself included. But, you know, this deck is not trash. This is one of the best decks available right now, so let's be clear on that. Just go back a few more. I have the list and the ranking of this deck, so Luke can get a better idea of what we're dealing with here. There we go. Let me pull the article up. So let's play our forests into a Visionary just for the draw. Keep things rolling. We don't want to lose advantage. There we go. Let me just pull this up on screen for you guys. So this is the deck we're playing with today. Historic Golgari Elves by V. Cardelli. 305 Mythic. So I don't know what this guy on Twitch is saying. Doesn't know what he's talking about. Like normal. He's been here before, so I like to have fun with him, right? Because if you don't call them out on stuff like this, they're just going to come back and keep doing it. And I don't like the negative attitude so much, so I'm always trying to set that straight. We may have lost that match pretty badly due to the enchantments, but we've sideboarded in some enchantment removal. We're ready to rock and roll, right? So he's got these Conclave Tribunals stacked up, and this is the same move he made last time, which we're actually kind of relying on, even though it's not in our hand yet. I think it's going to be a very powerful play in a couple seconds. So let's buff our elves up, and we do get a decent hit here for 2. Suspect to Shatter the Sky again, right? So we are holding our Ooze in hand to make use of those dead creatures a little later. Yeah, it is what it is. He's going right in with it. He's probably not going to shatter until he makes his creatures indestructible again, right? He's a little bit too far set up to turn back now, I feel like. But that doesn't make us any less vulnerable. Lots of cool blockers. I mean, it works. We should get rid of it now, shouldn't we? Right? We can go +3, I guess. Well, actually cancel. Yeah, we can pay 2. And then I still want to get a good attack in, so we're going to pay life here. He probably has a Shatter, which he's now more inclined to use it. The Iron Games is... So we want to get rid of these blockers, so the +1/+1 counters aren't viable. I shouldn't have looked at it because he realized it, maybe because of that. So he keeps all his creatures down to 11. And now they become quite powerful. So we got like what, a couple 5/5s to deal with. Oh, 3 tokens, not 4. Nonetheless, 3/7 with Defender's hot. And then he gets a draw engine in, so we're looking for that enchantment removal. A lot of land hiding out here. You know, I might rush that at a certain point. Oh, we should have we can't decline it. We're too far into it now. We should have done our Castle Garenbrig because that's an ability. So we could have gained some more land there. My bad. I still want to save this Ooze in my hand until after the Shatter. So, like, I think we just chill out. The 3/7 is like pretty gross. I think we just hold off, no attacks, and we try to get our 4th Elvish Clancaller out, just to make everybody a little bit stronger. He draws a lot here, though. That's gross. Yeah. He can still play another Starfield Mystic before these fizzle. I don't like the looks of that. Right, let's double block. At least we're killing 1, take 4 damage, whatever. Some weird shenanigans there, I thought maybe somehow. Oh, and then the Shatters. We should have double blocked. Saved 4 life. So there's the birth, here's the draw. This is a good deck, you guys. I really like it. I tried to make this deck work a little bit in Standard a while ago when we seen Calyx come out. But this is looking good. Maybe we can aggro him out really quick. Right? If he doesn't have a secondary answer for us, we should be able to get him here. Four defender is nice, but creating the knights is good too. This guy, like this is a great card that makes this deck like super viable. He's stacking though. Woohoo! History of Benalia from Dominaria. You're creating two knights, and then knights you control get +2/+1. I love it. This is an amazing deck list. We're going to be trying to scoop this up in the future for sure. I know I already mentioned this, but this is why we love Historic. I wish we had more elves on the field. This taps it too, eh? Yeah. I mean, we can try. Cancel. Let's do let's just grab an additional mana. La-di-da-di-da. It takes so long to do this. You know, it just makes me want to cry. The fact that we can't submit multiples at once is very saddening. And you'll see I'm doing this literally as fast as I can. Or as fast as my computer will allow. So we're buffing up. We've got a blocker at least. 2 more cards to do here. We'll probably take a Planeswalker or anything from his graveyard that we need if we have extra mana. It doesn't really look like anything actually. Just so much value within the Selesnya enchantments deck. It's kind of crazy. We played Goblins yesterday. It performed very well within the meta. But again, we didn't see anything like this there, though. No attacks this turn. Let's chill out. You get 2 more knights, right? So we're up to 4 knights total to get buffed the turn after. It's sickening. I don't even know what to do here. What a life to have lived. We're gonna let him play it out because how often do you get to while out on someone this hard with an enchantments deck? He's not even using all the glitters, right? This is like old school enchantments. This Enchantress Princess, I like that. It works so good. And it makes like all of these sagas much more viable. There's a lot of value there. Like the card value he's receiving is much beyond our own. Here's Calyx, right? So he can just exile our Ooze.
Will not let the threads of fate unravel.
He may want to exile our Shepherd though as well. That's gonna be up to him.
Cannot escape the bonds of fate.
No blocks. Taking our first 4 damage. Yikes. Like it's not bad. It's not the greatest though. Does it do anything for us or does it just put and this is just until end of turn. What a sad life. Let's just try to make more elves, baby.
Oh, I am gonna love tearing this place to the ground.
Yeah. Cry. Let's buff up some chump blockers, I guess. Even though they're all elves and it'll just become 5/5 dinosaur. I think that +1/+1s will transfer over to the dinosaurs, so they'll kind of become 6/6. But too little, too late. So he has the 4-6-6 or 6-4s out, right? 2 4-4s. That's a lot of heat in the kitchen. This guy needs to turn his stove down. This can't be up to code.
Look skyward.
Many of Dominaria. We've seen how relevant that was within his deck as well. So this is a deck where you definitely would want to exile his graveyard so we can't shuffle it back in. Every now and again, you get to witness
with larger
just
predators.
an absolute magical piece of art. Let's let him have it. Right? Just give him that gratitude he's been seeking. Minus 16. That's a decent hit, and he beat us 2 games in a row. Whew! Mono Green Elves not out to a good start. Playing first for sure. We need all the help we can get, apparently, today. 2 Clancallers. I like it. A Ranger. Okay, okay. We're also going first with our Llanowar Elf. But the ramp doesn't go anywhere if we're turn 2ing a Clancaller. I mean, the ramp will help when we're trying to push the 6 to pull another out, but... let's try our best. Mountain, that's not friendly. But you know what beats red decks? A 5-4. I remember I used to play a lot of red decks when this card was in standard, and you know, it just sucked. It was so bad. It's like, oh, we played a Llanowar Elf. I'm gonna get my Goblin Chain Whirler out on turn 3 to take care of it. And then they play 5-4. It's just like, oh, what are we supposed to do now? How do I attack through that? Oh, it's a Goblin deck. Okay, so this is the deck we played yesterday. Let's just deal with it immediately. Right, he could have haste to kill her. Let's make him want to block instead. I doubt... oh, he does! Ouch! That's a hot hit, baby. So, who wins? Goblins or elves, right? This is the exact question I was asking myself the day before yesterday. That's why we played these decks back to back. So, this is cool that we're maybe going to get a little bit of a sneak peek here. They don't have haste. I would rather give the trample.
Close your eyes. Breathe.
Right? Yeah.
Listen to the sounds of
Trample
fire.
to the already 7-6, making it a 9-7 with trample. So that's hot. How are we beating the Goblin deck in our sideboard? What shuts it down? I don't know if this behemoth will be good or not. We might be trading back and forth. Primal Might is good, right? There could be a, like that dude we need to remove. The dude to remove, the mob boss, right? I don't think he'll be playing things back from his graveyard. There's no arrows or like anything like that. It's just the removal on those important goblins. I mean, this 5/5, that could be good. Force him into like a really weird block. And then let's drop our other ooze. The ooze is a great way to dump dead mana, which we seems to have a lot of. But it's not an elf. This isn't an elf either, though. Ah! Let's risk it for the biscuit. My first couple games with this deck, so I can't say that my sideboard strategies are completely tuned in. And again, I'm bringing up the point that Historic is incredibly diverse within the decks you'll see, so the sideboards aren't as like oppressive. Like, it's not like every single sideboard deals with every single deck perfectly, so it may be more up to personal preference I'm not sure why I snap kept this hand. There's a lot of land here. Just talking. The Steel Leaf Champions, I think, will really help us. He might ramp far past us, though. So his ideal move is to drop 2 goblins here. Right, it's that 1/1 that makes another 1/1 token. Nothing, really, wow. So this will help later. And this might come down to that trample that we just snuck in as well, right? Like, he's going to go wide. We're going to need to go at least as wide. Really? Cycle out on my elf. Okay, okay. Nice. Nice. You're going to really want to keep that removal for my... He's got to get to 4 goblins on the field, that means, for his next cycle removal. 3 mana is huge. How does he not use it? There are plenty of 1, 2, and 3 drops within that deck. He's so far flooded if he doesn't drop here. Okay, there's this 3-drop. And what you gonna do about it? You gonna attack next turn, Billy? I don't think so. You only have 2 goblins on the field, so your cycle doesn't work. Unless he... Because the cycle is for 2, though, so he's got to play the land, play the goblin that makes 2 goblins for 2, and then cycle to kill us, and to hit our Steel Leaf Champion for 4. That's his go-to, right? Just the Chain Whirler. That's okay. Still can't attack. Chain Whirler being a 4/4 first strike does kind of throw a jank in our chain here or something. Interesting. It also stops us from attacking, right? So that's kind of annoying. Are we disconnected? What's going on here? So we can just buff our Steel Leaf Champion up, right? So it can survive the Chain Whirler. Let's get one of these lands in there tapped. Can't block creatures with power 2 or less. I don't know how aware of this he is. No attacks. The first strike, like, he could just easily double block. I would still block with the 2/2 though, if that Chieftain attacked. Okay, 3 damage. She kills our Imperious. Perfect. So Chain Whirler can now attack with his first strike. So can all the 2/2s, in all honesty. He should win on the play here. No blocks here, which is really sad. We get hit for 8. Oof. Oof. We could chump block. We almost have to. This is terrible. Is one of these... Oh, it is. Perfect. That saves us. I didn't really want to pay life for it, right? But I still want to keep the champion able to kill one of these Goblin Chain Whirlers if possible. There's so much value within the Goblin deck. And again, well, he's got the Amber Cleave, right? So we are just chump blocking, which is so sad. Alright. Let's try to recover. We did at least win the first game, so we should be on the play for the third match. Okay, more goblins. It's always more goblins. They're never ending. He's gonna cycle and kill our champion? No, he's only got 4 on the field. He could kill the perfect, bring the champion down. Just killing a land? Okay. We have plenty of land at this point. But it makes sense. He should use his mana on whatever he can. Yeah, so I mean, no problem with land. So we may as well just make a different elf to chump block rather than chump blocking with him. This is awful, but we have to play defensively and just try to make sure he's top decking lands or something. Like, definitely not more goblins. No mob boss. No Muxus. Just lands. That Castle Garenbrig. So we're going to be down to 3 here. We take 2 of his attackers out. Down to 4, actually. Oh, gross. It has haste too, so it could do that ability whenever it wanted. That makes me so sick. We need to draw a lot of fire here. Okay, okay. He still gets the ability to do it, which sucks, but how do we get around these stupid chain whirlers, though? Do we kill the chieftain instead? And then that nullifies the chain whirlers. Oh, we can actually only pay 2. It's not ideal. We need to remove the mob boss. But this chieftain is really helping these chain whirlers out. So at least the tokens are 1/1. No attacks. We have a decent amount of blockers, but this mob boss is going to flood the field. So we probably should have taken the mob boss, I guess, right? Because like Castle Garenbrig still screws us because he's got too many attackers. Good game. I think we would have been dead either way. Alrighty, so that was annoying. These Clancallers get eaten alive. Unless we can get them buffed up, which is relatively easy to do. There's no countering going on here, so let's drop that. That should help us a bit. We're playing first. We do have a little bit of removal. Steel Leaf on turn 2. Let's buff our elves up. Then we have 2 forms of removal. This should be good. As long as he doesn't flood too wide here. Immediately into the Chain Whirler. That's fine. I'm gonna Primal Might the heck out of that. Now we get a huge uninhibited attack, heading for 7. We have 1 more piece of removal. Okay, he's searching. That's fine. It doesn't go on the field, so we could remove it, potentially. Another Primal Might would be fun. Some Trample through Vivian would be a lot of fun as well. Right? We should save this. Let's go wide. It doesn't block. Incredible. Down to 8. We didn't even need to remove the blocker. Plays the Ringleader. Nice. Only 2 creatures on the field. It's a full draw, though. Next turn, we are not looking too good. He needs a land and then to play his Prospector. He's on his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's choosing what card to discard here. Alright. How do we best make this work? We have 4 mana, 2 3-drops, and a 2-drop. We could buff up everybody and force him to block. Is that our best play? If we can only play 1, it should be our Imperious Perfect, just because it survives the Chain Whirler. And this is sorcery speed, so that's definitely the play. Basically forcing the block. What? So both his creatures died anyways, but he chose to take 6 damage. Okay, here's the Prospector. This makes mana when it comes in, so it only really costs 1 and it can be sacrificed, so it's like an equalizing play. Basically it was played for free, but to utilize the mana from the free play, it also gets removed from play, so it's like 0 basically, does nothing. Alright, up to 2, that's 3. It's not good enough, that's for sure. Alright, so we get a win with Elves. We needed it. It does beat out Goblins too, which is an interesting argument considering how well I did with Goblins yesterday. Historic Elves. So I think we got boxed out a little bit in our matches today. I don't think it's a bad deck. I think it's fun at the very least. I think it's very powerful, and I don't think it's going anywhere. The Mythics are a lot heavier than the Goblin deck. That's the first thing I want to point out. Just because the Shepherd is 4, and then we've got another 4 over here. So we're already at 8 Mythics where the Goblin deck has 0. And again, plenty of rare land in each deck, plus just plenty of rares in general. So they are expensive decks. I think this one is a little bit more expensive than Goblins. We did beat Goblins, but we also got beat by Goblins. So the great thing about these historic decks that I've focused on the last 2 days, both Elves and Goblins, is that they're very fast-paced aggro decks, which are generally pretty friendly for beginners. So we're going to be trying to back engineer or reverse engineer these decks into a more beginner, free-to-play friendly style, so you're not draining all of your rares and mythics into a historic deck. So I hope you're excited for that. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share to a friend, hit the bell icon so you're notified of future uploads. We're live on YouTube every morning, 6 a.m. Mountain Standard, live on Twitch at 7 for literally almost the whole day sometimes, and then we're in the Discord all the way. So links for everything is in the description below, you guys. I can't wait to have you join the community and get to know you one-on-one. So do take care. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace!